Man, I feel like the online space is just kind of going through a growth spurt right now. I feel like streaming in general, I don't want to say Twitch streaming, but just streaming in general feels like it's in its adolescence and it's in its teen years and it's kind of going through this rebellious stage. I say this because if you go on Kick, there's just a bunch of degenerates on that platform. You go on Twitch, there's a bunch of degenerates on that platform. You look over at Rumble, there's a bunch of degenerates on that platform. No matter where you go, there's a bunch of degenerates. But what's crazy is that Twitch has just said, you know what? We're gonna look at the entire country of Israel and just permaban everybody there. And I just think that's a wild take. And if you're like, yo, that seems like a wild take, boy, sit back, get some freaking, get some snacks, whatever you like, whatever your country has, get it, sit back and enjoy. This shit's wild.
All right, jumping right in here, the video title says it all. Some people might view it as hyperbole, but it's not. And today I want to talk about how Twitch is titanicking itself on the iceberg of Hassan Piker in one of the most spectacular displays of brain dead decision making that I've probably ever seen in the world of streaming.
I'm just gonna go out and flat say it. I am not a Hassan Piker fan, not in the slightest.
Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of dumb things that happen in the industry, but start to finish, we're watching a business destroy itself in real time. If they don't make substantial changes, that is. And so far, the socio-political atmosphere and corporate environment doesn't seem to be letting them make those changes, which is flat out sinking their public reputation and the entire business model. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of showcasing all the individual clips and naming all the streamers involved because it's a cesspool. There's a website that recently popped up called danclancysucks.com, which has a hefty number of clips archived on it for those that want to look. But for the sake of summary, I'm just going to do
Oh
a
my
broad
God.
strokes outline for the type of things that have been said so people can understand what the political atmosphere on Twitch has now become. Just for clarity, since I already said
I think the political atmosphere, not even just on Twitch, but just in general, has just reached a new level of volatility. Everyone is just so angry, and I've like looked back at a few of my videos very recently. I woke up like this morning as a recording. It's the day before Halloween, so October 30th. I woke up this morning. It's like, man, I have been so mad. I've been so frustrated with just the people who have opposing sides, and I've kind of not been practicing my own words of like those people are not their entirety of their opinion. So I'm trying to give a little bit more grace and a little bit more. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. A little bit more
his
grace.
name. The epicenter of this problem is a streamer named Hassan Piker, and most of the other people involved are in his
Not a pro Hassan fan, but I'm not going to try to sit here and dunk on the guy.
direct orbit. Moderators, fans, friends, etc. These people are positioned on the extreme left of the political discourse spectrum, but the term horseshoe theory has probably never been more true in the world of streaming because this radical sect of the
1 second. The horseshoe theory is a political science theory that outlines the shape of a political spectrum. It assigns different ideologies, a variation of those ideologies in certain positions of the political horseshoe. While political ideologies are given a place on the horseshoe political spectrum, so you're telling me they're on the spectrum? The theory was created to examine the closeness and similarities between the far right and the far left. In the political horseshoe theory, this extremes of the political spectrum, the far left and the far right, are not as far apart as they seem. Most models illustrate the spectrum as a straight line, but the most model states that it is like a horseshoe. The far left and the far right occupying roughly the same vertical position. This theory advocates popularization in 2002 by Jean-Pierre Fouet, who is a prominent French political philosopher. Fouet's theory of horseshoe politics states that the political right and the political left use the same tactic to maintain order and retain most members. That's very fair because both sides right now are just going at each other and just saying, they're communists, they're Nazis, they're eating the dogs, they're killing the babies, like left and right. The definition of political right in individuals who support laissez-faire economics and the conservative political policies, and the definition of the political left is those who support egalitarian and liberal populist policies, as well as government's control of many sectors in the state. Yuck. According to Fay, the political left used just as much hate, fear-mongering, and bullying as the political right was accused of utilizing. In the middle of the spectrum of the horseshoe are the centrists, who use minimal fear-mongering and other negative tactics to preserve their group. I think RFK is a very good example of that, at least in American politics.
The extreme left genuinely harbors anti Semitic beliefs, loosely disguising those beliefs by simply replacing a couple of key terms and phrases in their everyday dialogue. Again, without fully going down the rabbit hole, instead of Jew, they say Zionist, except the term is now indistinguishable because of their blanket usage. When advocating against Israel in general, they often qualify their call.
Yeah, whenever I hear the term Zionist now, I definitely hear it as like a slight against Jews, and it just I don't know where that's come from. And on Twitter, where's all the hate coming for Indians? Like my friends over there are great.
To violence or extremist rhetoric as being only against the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, but IDF service is mandatory in Israel, and all citizens above the age of 18 serve for at least 2 years, with rare exception.
Ooh. Okay, this is in Israel?
On the subject of conspiracy, this group of political extremists denies the legitimacy of pretty much all atrocities committed on October 7th, blaming Israel for much of that tragedy, if you can believe that, under something called the Hannibal Doctrine. And still further, they directly agree with, support, and platform literal terrorists, or make blank statements against U.S. veterans, wishing that more of them would, quote, get PTSD as a result of their service. There's more, a lot more, but the gist of it is that radical anti Semitism has grown and festered inside the Twitch community to an extreme degree, which is a problem now coming home to roost as the platform suffers under the self inflicted strain of allowing radical, hateful, and disgusting content to be consistently amplified across the entire website. With that said, community political extremism isn't the only problem Twitch is facing. On the contrary, the mere existence of extremism probably wouldn't have hurt them all that much if it wasn't happening alongside platform moderation failures, and even more severe, openly disprovable lies at a corporate level, which paint the entire business as being complicit with this kind of hateful conduct. It turns out that Twitch was deliberately blocking all signups from Israel beginning shortly after the October 7th tragedy, and when apologizing for this, the
Wow, they even got community noted. Both email registration and phone registration were blocked. Can you imagine Twitch putting out a tweet and then getting community noted for it? We wanted to address concerns we've seen about whether we're preventing Twitch account signups in some regions. When signing up for a Twitch account, you can select an account verification method, email or phone, for an addition or for added protection for his and her pleasure. Following the October 7, 2023 attacks, we temporarily disabled signups via email verification in Israel and Palestine. We did this to prevent uploads of graphic material related to the attack to protect the safety of the users. Honestly, I don't know how I even feel about that. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. Signups were not disabled, but we continue to see signups from both regions. Users could choose to sign up via phone verification or re-enable email. Yeah, community noted.
Company stated, quote, "We temporarily disabled signups with email verification in Israel and Palestine. We did this to prevent uploads of graphic material related to the attack and to protect the safety of users. Signups were not disabled, and we continue to see signups from both regions. Users could choose to sign up with phone verification. We've learned that, inadvertently, we did not re-enable email verification signups for either region," end quote. However, multiple first-hand accounts and code snapshots of the website itself
Whoa! They even brought up the code on the platform. Holy!
dispute that claim, showing that phone verification was also not working.
Whoa!
And that Twitch had seemingly decided to blanket ban the sign-up process.
Block
completely.
country IP.
All right, so listen up. State Farm was trying to charge me $197 for car insurance. No thank
So they were trying to fuck you. I got it.
Keep in mind, none of this is happening in a vacuum. Twitch has been widely criticized for years over unfair, highly biased moderation efforts, where some streamers will be selectively banned while others receive no punishment whatsoever for equal or substantially worse infractions. The terms of service has been unevenly enforced, categorically, and the wider community has no actual indication of how they should act, beyond a general sentiment that left-leaning political extremism is totally okay, and anything right of center is at risk. And whether or not that impression is actually true doesn't really matter, because that's what people think, and that's what their actions have been clearly showing. Here's the thing. Being a biased platform doesn't mean your business has to fail, but Twitch is in a uniquely bad position here because they don't have content moderation systems at scale. The best comparison here is probably YouTube, well, obviously YouTube, which experienced an adpocalypse a number of years ago, actually multiple adpocalypses spread across a number of years, but in response, YouTube built out an entire system where they can selectively classify content to different categories.
And now with all the years of the ad moderation and the ad wars and ad apocalypses, it's just diluted YouTube. YouTube in like 2012, 2016, maybe even like pre-COVID, 2019 even was kind of like peak. Now, even YouTube's a little sketch.
such as ad safe, limited advertising, or
They were just recently, as of recording this video, they had to apologize and say it's been corrected, where they were suppressing the Donald Trump and Joe Rogan interview. Insane.
even demonetized. That system sucks in a lot of different ways, and you're not going to catch me praising it, but its rudimentary purpose is
Agreed,
at the
brother.
very least functional, because it allows content to exist on the website that is shocking or provocative or unsafe for brands, with air quotes there, without destroying the collective advertising potential of the entire platform. Let me explain a little bit better here. YouTube, through Google, allows pretty much anyone to advertise on their platform. $100, $1,000, $1 million, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you can just sign up and use their advertising portal to run campaigns and just give your
Fun fact, that used to be my job. I got the hell out of it. Talk about a soul-sucking job. That shit was ass.
own stuff, fill out the information, click, run, done. This has a variety of problems associated, like scammers and fraudsters running tens of thousands of ads across the platform, which I've covered extensively in the past. Shout out to
And not only that, when they do that, like when scammers take over the algorithm, that also, it's like by byproduct pushes your shit down, which you're paying for already, to be pushed up. You know what I mean? It's all kinds of fucked.
Guardio, by the way, for protecting Chrome users from all of that phishing and malware website trash, and I directly contribute to their threat database myself, so I recommend it to viewers wholeheartedly. I'll have a link down below to their service. But anyway, despite being an imperfect system, YouTube and Google's advertising pipeline, combined with their ability to let advertisers choose where their content will be shown, makes it so that the website can realistically have everything from kid-friendly nursery rhymes to certain political extremism without threatening the entire advertiser ecosystem. Yeah, Twitch doesn't have that. It has none of that, actually. In order for people to advertise on Twitch through Amazon, they need a direct relationship with the company and a massive initial ad spend to even qualify. Twitch advertising doesn't come from regular businesses and everyday people.
I did not know
It comes
that.
from large clients who run huge amounts of money through the platform, and all of those ads show up on every single valid stream.
I did not know that. I thought like doing like boosting your Twitch channel would be just as easy as it would be on YouTube.
This is a problem because when a small subset of the creator community goes down this kind of extremist rabbit hole, brands are now having their ads shown alongside literal terrorist amplification, which is a completely unappealing prospect for them. And to make it all worse, the broader community on Twitch is acutely aware of this and now weaponizing it against them. There are multiple very large-scale communities who have now explicitly begun calling for advertisers to be contacted. And this is where I myself get a little bit mixed on the issue, because that's a pretty scary thing to see happen as a creator.
Yeah, no, and it's like that's like borderline levels of censorship, and I'm almost a free speech absolutist.
As a side story here, I've had that happen to me before, where a journalist spent like 6 months going around emailing advertisers and trying to get me and a few other creators as well demonetized. So regardless of who I see targeted by this, the idea of going after sponsors and ads, in my opinion, is a little bit dicey. However, my personal feelings are somewhat irrelevant on this because one side of the political spectrum has been using this tactic relentlessly for years, and now the same thing is happening right back at them through Twitch. Make no mistake, this is an apocalyptic situation for Twitch as a platform, because they have unevenly enforced their moderation terms for the past, decade, leading to a lack of community respect for them as a company. More recently, they have allowed left-wing extremism to fester and grow with no pushback whatsoever, leading to a wave of indefensible or inexcusable statements across the website. And now, those statements are being shown to advertisers by opposing communities, leaving Twitch in a situation that can't be solved by anything other than very heavy-handed enforcement of their own terms, which they have been deliberately ignoring and not doing for years.
Wow, that's loud as hell. But no, for sure, it feels like Twitch doesn't even follow their own rules. They kind of they have favorites. They pick and choose. I think you guys can agree with that.
This is already happening behind the scenes, by the way. I'm not in the know on this per se, but there's pretty reputable creators discussing it who are actually being contacted by people at Twitch or Amazon. And the general sentiment that I've been seeing creep forward right now is that the advertisers are basically in shock, like open shock at how bad the association can be for them, as well as what kind of content their products can be shown against, leading to a massive retraction in potential business for Twitch as a platform, which is, I don't know,
Real
a couple
bad.
weeks, maybe a month or two away from hitting full force. My timeline could be wrong easily, but This issue isn't going anywhere, and the problem
And if Twitch loses funding, like Amazon eventually will I mean, granted, Twitch is owned by Amazon, so it's an infinite amount of money. But like, I still think there's a limit to infinite, right?
facing Twitch as a result of extremists in their broadcaster community are only ever getting worse. It's kind of hard to really communicate the gravity of the situation to people who don't really frequent the website, but the level of extremism, if applied to any other group in the entire world, would be jaw-dropping levels of reaction immediately. If the statements being made by certain Twitch broadcasters were tweaked ever so slightly and applied,
Like, imagine you're in a guild, and the guild has all the money in the game, and somebody's just one-off just going over to the auction house and just buying everything in the auction house with the money. Everyone else is trying to, be respectful with the money being in the guild. This one person is just whatever. You're going to, like, Sakuna World slash them and just get them over and just cut them half in, like, Gojo.
to quite literally any other racial or ethnic group on the planet, they would all be deplatformed instantly. Somehow, the prevailing social norms inside Twitch have degraded to a point where they have completely lost the plot and become a protection racket, really, for heinous levels of anti-Semitism, masquerading as anything other than hateful. And the music is about to stop, because advertisers are not going to tolerate this, and weaponization of the advertisers is now a default tactic in the online culture war. Just in case I haven't fully outlined this towards the end, just so there can be no doubt whatsoever, even though I said I wouldn't go too far down the rabbit hole on specifics, one of the largest broadcasters on the entire platform, who is consistently shielded from accountability in every respect, played a straight-up terrorist propaganda video live on stream and joked about how they like to put the Israeli and American flags down next to each other and march over them. He refers to it as a musical, unironically propagating it to his audience. And some of the most flagrant TOS, like terms of service violations on Twitch that you can...
I'm a proud American. I know America is not perfect, but I love this country and I love the people here, man. And I hate when I see somebody who lives here, who I'm presuming lives here, and does something like this. It just hurts my heart.
possibly imagine.
We're better than this, I promise you.
For him and a variety of others. And nothing happens to him. I promise you, when advertisers are seeing this as it gets relentlessly spammed to them, rightly, by his alarmed critics, they are noticing and they are taking action. Personally, I find myself pretty much okay with the platform failing outright. It's been going down in flames for years at this point. I stopped streaming back in, 2018 for a variety of reasons, and watched...
I moved from Kick because Kick became a platform of degenerates, right? I uploaded a video on that not too long ago. I may have to legitimately stop streaming on Twitch. And I don't stream that often, but when I do, I just kind of have a lineup of things that I want to react to, and then we play some games. I might just start doing that on Twitter.
Watched the dumpster fire ever since, but there's a lot of people that really do just play video games on the website. And they honestly don't deserve to face an adpocalypse because the moderation team and a fringe group of extremists have gone totally unhinged. Realistically, it would be a much better outcome for the platform to wake up and improve while suspending these people immediately. But I just don't really see that happening anytime soon, or it probably would have already. In the end, Twitch is facing a pretty devastating adpocalypse. They brought it on themselves, and the platform is about to undergo either radical changes or crash out fully. One or the other. There's no middle ground. They either change completely, start banning these people, and kind of overturn their entire business model for the past couple of years.
Depending on how Elon updates Twitter and everything, because I know he's wanting it to become the everything app. I mean, Twitter could, become a Trojan horse and just knock on the door and just be like, hey, guess what? We're just here to be a part of the streaming community. We're not going to take over. And all of a sudden, they're taking the fuck over.
Or they fail as a platform. That's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A special VPN deal, locals and Patreon.
That's a good video. We're going to go ahead and... Oh, we're not joining, but we will subscribe, like the video, and I'll link this down below if you guys want to watch it yourself, and you don't have to listen to my silly voice the entire time. But if you guys like the way the words are coming out my mouth, you're picking up what I'm putting down. It's been cool to foster a breakfast club community of sorts. This channel is not big enough to have all these bot spam of just link in bio, hot, spicy, hee hee, ooey wooey. It's I feel like I get to have conversations with real people around the world. I know I've said this in the comments before, but I just want you guys to see me saying this instead of just typing it out. That it is cool to have people have conversations with people in India, England, over here in the States, in Canada, over in Australia, like crikey, mate. Like it's cool, man. At least I think so. It's I don't know. It feels pretty genuine right now, and I appreciate everyone who swings by, listens to my dumb face ramble off and yap about things. But you guys are pretty cool. So with that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Also, if you guys want me to react to stuff, I'm gonna start having like a lineup of things that you told me to react to. I've been writing them down, lining them up, and we about to knock that shit out. God, I'm dumb.